Hi Aries, welcome to a new era. My name is Emma. Aries, this is your general reading. I call it Messages from the Universe, starting today on the 20th of April. And it's very strong. I'm using the frequency of the number, and the frequency of the number today is really, I mean, we can step into the whole that this is the entire year is all about 2020, which is a 4. Number 20 today is sort of a relationship communication 2.0 version type of thing for yourself. So it's really an upgrade around the heart that it speaks about. So let's see specifically what's going on for you for the very near future, Aries. And I'm using this gorgeous deck, Mystical Wisdom. And they're a bit large, so, well, I was gonna say I might just put them down and feel them through which ones to take. But then one wanted to come out straight away. So let's see. Guys, I just want to say that personally, I just feel this tremendous shift going on right now. And I just feel a lot of beauty, and I feel like there's an opening, and like I'm just crying for everything these days. Or cry, but I get really easily moved. Like there's an opening happening. There's a lot around the blue frequency for me. That might be for me personally, but I want to share that with you if you're going through something of the same kind. You know what? The rest of the cards I'm just going to spread out here on the table, and I'm just going to pick 2 cards that I feel stand out. So I'm actually going to take 3 cards more. So there's 4 cards on the table right now. So the first card that came out here is that I feel like don't care too much about what it says on the bottom, because the program reverses the images on the cards. So I'll just do that so it doesn't bother you that much. It says 7 deadly sins on the bottom, humanity's destructive traits. And I guess some of it sort of makes sense why it comes out, but that's more for the collective. But I feel like for you, Aries, specifically, there's something about giving of yourself where it's not received, or that's how you portray it. You give of yourself where it's not perceived, like you're trying to give things to people, or trying to give people advice, or trying to get them to come on board on something, or like listen to this new thing that I have, or I think you could benefit from this, or whatever it is. It's a very like, it doesn't really go anywhere. So if this is for you, like just for anything, it's a general reading. So it could be that you're really trying really hard in a relationship, like a romantic relationship, and you're giving it all. Like it's beautiful, gorgeous rainbow energy here. So I feel like most of you are in attunement with yourself, with your higher self. The rainbow type of energy is speaking about how every energy center in your body is sort of in alignment. Just in an easier way to say it, it feels like you're overall in balance, or at least you feel like you are in balance. There's something about the way you feel and the way you perceive that to be doesn't really match with other people's way of receiving that right now, if that makes sense. Like you maybe want a bit too much for somebody and they're just not having it, or you might see a solution for somebody and they're just not taking it on board. And I feel like you're throwing away unnecessary energy that might So check in really with your heart, like do a reality check, be really honest with yourself around this. Like, if you're having a really beautiful idea, maybe put that out so where people, if they're drawn to it, they can come to you. If you see that somebody's in trouble, have they really asked for your opinion? Have they asked for your advice? If you're in a romantic relationship, or a friendship, or a coworker, or like whatever that is, but it feels like it's more like close up to you, and you're seeing that they should, in your world anyway, you think that they would benefit from knowing something that you see clearly, and it's like you give that to them. Have they really asked for that, or is it something that you sort of, you put your energy out there and you think this would help so much? It's like, you don't come from a bad place. It's not a bad thing. It's just that it feels like you feel that it doesn't go well over, that it's like, it's not well received. And so you might benefit right now for sort of keeping a bit more to yourself. If there's something that you're really inspired by, something you feel really passionate about, put it out. Like, there's a lot of social media or websites or wherever you are circulating, like wherever you, however you want to show up in the world. I'm sure that there's places where you can sort of, if there's sort of something that you really want other people to be interested in, or give information to somebody else because you think that it would be so helpful for them, especially around this time. Put it somewhere where if they resonate with it, if they vibrate with it, they will show up and they will hear you, and then they will come to you, and then from an open channel you bring the help or the upliftment or the inspiration or whatever to them, if that makes sense. Because right now it feels like you're speaking for deaf ears. You're, in your opinion, I feel like this not okay. So here's the thing. It might not be that you're speaking for deaf ears. It might not be that the information is not received, but I feel like oh, I get so dizzy. So I feel like you perceive it that way. You perceive like you want to give somebody your help, and you give it to them, and on their end they might have actually received it. They might have actually taken it on board, but you feel like they haven't. So it might be something that it's just within you, that for some reason right now it's important for you that you get this information across, that you get this help delivered to certain people, and for some reason you feel like you're not doing enough. You feel like you can't get through. You feel like you can't win. It's like it's very, very symbolic here, the way how you're like coming in a bit strong, a bit forceful. There is a bit of like, okay, just step back a bit and just be a bit softer in the energy, a bit wait until people ask. Vibration is taking care of it. Law of attraction is your help here, okay? Because right now you're like a fire truck with your energy, and there's really no fire. There's really no fire to put out. You're trying to give some advice and give help for people who don't, like right now, listen. There's something, but it's a bit double here, because I feel like on one hand they are listening, but you're perceiving them as not to listen. On the other hand, you are giving information to people that maybe didn't ask for it. So there's a balance here, and both of them doesn't serve you right now. Because if you're giving advice to somebody who doesn't want the advice, it's sort of going to be a backlash on you. And if you're giving advice to somebody who's actually taking on the advice, but you are not feeling like they are, there's still a backlash on you. So there's something about you needing to come in more with, why are you giving the advice that you're giving? Why do you want to share it with the world? Why do you want to talk to your partner about this thing right now? What is it that is important to you that you think is going to benefit for them? And then take that beneficial thing and put it onto yourself. Because I feel like there's a bit of a projection here. Like you're projecting something onto other people, if that makes sense. It comes from a good place. It comes from a helpful, you just want to help is what you feel like. So there's no harm in it other than you at the end of the day feel drained. And you might get a bit irritated people. If it's the case for some of those interactions, if it's the case that it actually is somebody that hasn't asked for your advice, they might be a bit irritated. Is it worth it? I don't know. And then two cards here, they're very similar, that sort of, it's like, okay, so just look at them first. I'm just gonna cover the words up first. Absolutely gorgeous. So this card feels a bit like you're so, because it's almost like a process, a beautiful process where it's like we're looking at this card that leads into the other card, and here's where you let your hair down, here's where you have fun, here's where you're celebrating, here's where you receive the good news. It's very free. This card is a bit more restrained. Do you see that? Do you feel that? It's a bit more like held in. I'm holding it in. It's like you're holding the energy in and you're waiting for this like to pop. You're waiting for sort of a celebration, or you're waiting for something to explode, or something to come to the surface, to come to the I want to use the expression be in the clear. Like there's something that's being cleared. There's something like you're getting a green light to do this. And until that happens, the energy is a bit closed in. So I feel like, I don't know, on some level, and here, this is Archangel Raphael. So Raphael comes in when you're in a bit of need of healing. And I can't ignore that there's the healing part is mostly around relationships. It's mostly around relationships. It's not a love story. This is not a love story, but what is, like, I can't hinder. I'm not specifically asking for your love story. I'm specifically asking about what you need to hear most right now. What's the most beneficial, uplifting, inspirational thing that you can hear right now? And there's something around the relationships, because I see two that is making you closed up. Guys, I'm trying to put this together, the energy that I feel around it. So here's the thing, the bottom line, it's so interesting because it's like at first, and maybe this is sort of almost an aha moment for you, because I think that you probably are not aware of it yourself. If you look at this, she's a bit forceful. She's coming on a bit strong here. Can you tell? But the energy is right. Is the rainbow energy. She's carrying the rain, and obviously this can be a man. It's the rainbow energy. So there is sort of good balance within, but then there's something, and there's animals on the bottom there. Good energy, meaning animals on the bottom there, and it's like you're projecting. Like I started to say, it feels like a projection. You're projecting something within you that is not fully okay, and that you're not fully aware of yourself from within, onto other people, onto other situations. And I think it is due to you being a bit frustrated when it comes to relationships. And I say that, so here we have two beautiful horses. Are they unicorns? Whether they're unicorns or not, the feeling I get here is they're coming in pairs. So we have a pair of horses, white, beautiful horses, and then we have a pair of hjort. What is that in English? It's not a deer, but it's they're quite similar to the deer. Right, deer? I'm so funny. We have two foxes, right? Fox? If he wants to focus here. There you go. Two white horses, two somewhat like a deer. We have two foxes. And then we have a squirrel that is a bit on his own. And we have a rabbit that is a bit on his own. And there's something with the ancient, like there's almost like runes, like we have engraved it in stone, like from very ancient times. What I'm trying to piece together here is there's huge transformation happening for you right now. That huge butterfly, maybe you're seeing butterflies right now around you, or you're starting to see butterflies, because there's a huge transformation happening for you as we speak. And I feel like you're on most days, most time of the day, you're very content. You're feeling really like good about yourself, and you're organizing things and being the Aries that you are. This could be very in your face situation, and this can be somewhat asleep within you. That's why I say you might not even be aware of this, but there's some sort of activation, there's some sort of level that this wants to come up, or I would not be drawn to talk about it. It wouldn't come through as clear and as strong as it does. And there's something to it that, okay, so those people are two, they come in pairs, but I'm alone, and all I want is a relationship. And whether that is there's a hiccup in a friendship, you feel like you're very solo, like very single, or in a committed relationship where you feel not seen, or like on your own, really spending all that time on your own. I shouldn't compare, it's not a competition, but it's almost worse sometimes if you're in a relationship and you feel lonely, then other people sort of just enhances that lonely feeling. But there's something to this that it can be on a very deep rooted level, that you're so longing for the right partner, you're so longing for the right type of people, for your soul family. It could be like a reconnection with your soul family, like your soul tribe, star system family. People in plain Swedish, in plain English, people that are speaking the same language as you are, people that get you. You have a strong longing for them, like you're waiting to return home. And it turns up as a frustration, but not being aware that it is such a frustration. Now we're moving on to projects, or we're doing things, and you're getting really inspired by them. You feel really excited about them, and you want to tell the world about it. And when they're sort of not having any of it because they really didn't ask for it, you get really frustrated. But the frustration has nothing to do with the project itself. The frustration lies deeper. It has to do with the fact that you feel lonely. I hope this makes sense. It might feel like it's a huge stress, like what does one have to do with the other? It has everything to do with the other. So there's a restricted energy here is what I feel. Like there's a holding on, like a bit of a tight energy. And so maybe if you're not easily being like, if you're a really friendly person, if you're a really like, I don't know how to say this. If you're a good person, and you know if you're a good person, if you're a bad person, like if you're a good person, if you're friendly, if you're somebody that like doesn't easily get frustrated or upset, or agitated, aggravated by other people, it probably comes across as you being really tired. Because I feel like it's draining. Like, try to force all of this energy out and have absolutely it doesn't land anywhere, or the feeling that it doesn't land anywhere. So it's like a setback, a constant setback. So either you're sort of somewhat lashing out at other people, but if you know true to your heart, if that is not you, you're holding it in. It's like becomes and you're becoming super tired, and you're probably not even aware of it. You don't understand why you're so tired. It's a deep-rooted frustration that is coming for the pure longing for your soul family. It took me a while to get to this point. It wasn't clear from the beginning. So I understand that this could be sort of a bit hidden for you. But now when I say it, if you resonate with that, then you have a feeling of that could be, it can be true. That could be, that feels, even though you have no idea who they are, even though you don't even know who it is that you long for, you could still on some level feel like, I understand actually what you're saying. I do miss my people. I want my people. And so then we move into this that looks a bit same. Like, if you just let go of that, if you just sort of understand that it's not it has nothing to do with you. Nothing is wrong with you. There's no like running out of time. There's no I should have done it in a different way. I'm living in a different. I'm doing the wrong thing. I should be involved more with other people that are more like, I don't know, maybe you think that you should be involved in more spiritual things because there you will meet the right people. It has nothing to do with it. Okay? I just feel like you need to let your hair down. Literally, you look at her. She's having so much fun. She's letting go. So I feel like this is, and here's a bunch of animals. Like, the animals are just following you around. This is celebration on the bottom. They're just following you around and showing you that, like, so you are in a good energy. Like, you can't have all those animals around you if you're not in a good energy. You have the animals with you here. You're in that rainbow energy. So the energy is good. It's just a longing for your family, and the way that you're going to meet them, the way that you're going to be a vibrational match to them is not to be this, is not to be closed in and holding tight, and it's not to sort of project things out to other people either. It's sort of tending a bit more to yourself right now, and the tending to yourself, that could just be, it could be a couple of days, it could be a week, and then it's over. It's like a shift that is happening right now. It's funny how I did that exactly when I said shift. So Archangel Raphael comes in to heal something within you, to heal that lonely spot, to heal the feeling of, and like I said, you probably don't even walk around feeling like you're maybe missing somebody or that you feel lackful. You are super engaged in some sort of passionate project or passionate, like, full on, this is what I'm doing right now. And it becomes sort of I do not want to compare. Oh, I shouldn't go there. I need a better analogy than the one that I have in my head. Okay, I'm going to try to explain it, because this comes up as, I'm not trying to compare your super passionate project with alcohol, like you numb yourself with alcohol, and that's a whole other aspect of it, because I would sit here and say this whole entire thing that we're doing here, it's all an illusion. It's just smoke and mirrors. They just everything, it's a big game. So if you've chosen that to have alcohol because it's so bad for you, then it will really numb you. But if you think alcohol probably is the best thing that was ever given to mankind, then alcohol probably is the best thing for you. So that is a whole other topic and discussion in itself. But if you're taking it as I want to use it now, as in the analogy that you probably have, that you think that alcohol is bad for you, I think that you're so passionate about this thing. I'm not saying that the project that you're doing or the thing that you're passionate about or whatever you're sort of engaged in right now is a bad thing, but I feel like you're sort of, as best as you can, trying to put your focus there. And I normally would say that is gorgeous. Put your focus on something else. Shift that vibration so that you will start to attract something else. But when something runs this deep, it's freaking ancient. It's like in the runes. It's you've been waiting for this star family for eons. It's engraved in stone. It's like a little, and it's so small you almost miss it. So subtle that you almost like pass it by, and you don't understand the deepness of it and how rooted it is within you, and it turns up as a sorrow, as grief. And because you don't feel like you have anything to be sad about, or like nothing really has happened, or then you full on go in passionately about this project, and when the project doesn't really fall in the way that you want, sometimes it just may be a bit of a hiccup. You're just like, it becomes such a huge hiccup for you. Or if you just sort of keep it flowing and you don't mess that up, then at the end of the day, you're Aries, I feel like then you're so tired. It's sort of a different, depending on who you are as a person, Aries, it's going to be sort of show up in a different light for different people. But at the end of the day, what is coming through here is to sort of tend a bit more to yourself. Know that your star family or your soul family is on their way to you as you are on your way to them. That's why you miss them. How can you long for somebody if there's nobody on the other side of that? How do you miss something if it's nobody there? If it wasn't something on the other end that sort of could, like the dragkamp, like you standing on one side of the rope, and then there's another like on the other side, and it's like a little competition. You pull back and forth, and it's like, how can you feel that pull to somebody if somebody's not like pulling it on the rope on the other end of that rope on the other end? Okay, so there's somebody out there, or several people out there on the other end of you that you're longing for. They're coming in, you're coming in, but in order to reach them, we're needing to, instead of projecting out the energy, the rainbow energy onto things and channel it into wrong things, we need to then just let the hair down. It's so gorgeous how the rainbow then sort of, instead of it being hindered here by people that sort of they don't really want to have anything to do with it. Maybe they sense on some cellular level that it's not authentic, but it's not because it's not authentic. The advice that you're giving, or the passion you have and you want to share with people, or the project that you're diving deep into, whatever that is authentic. But because there's a slight undertone of, I'm so fully engaging in this because I'm trying to cover up some longing that I have that is so strong within me that I can't really bear it. People feel that. I have no idea why they feel that. They just think that, this is probably not for me, having no clue what's going on behind it. And I feel like you probably don't either until now. So see how instead of projecting something out to somebody that doesn't want to hear it, you're just tending to yourself, and see how then the rainbow energy is going to be so released in a good way, in a positive way. There's your star system right there, star family. Then they can come in. Then you're leaving space for them, literal space for them to come in. Then we have this little guy on the side. Face your fears, release the power of fear. There is a shooting star here. We have wish fulfillment, and we have several moon cycles. There's a couple of more moon cycles, and then you have your wish fulfillment. Then the person that you're longing for, that friendship that you're longing for, is really here. But I think that there's a fear of you not meeting them, ever going to meet them, a frustration that you're ever going to meet them, or just a tiny bit of a sadness there, that you feel like I might go through my lifetime and actually not meet my soul family. That is just not true. You can't long for somebody that isn't there. So just try as best as you can to take that to heart. Lighten up as much as you can and sort of stop projecting project. It's funny how you use a project right now and projecting it out to other people. Sort of tend a bit more to yourself. And like I said, it's like only for a couple of days or for a week that you completely tend to yourself to sort of re-navigate that whole rainbow energy. And you will have a completely different outcome. There's a wish fulfillment. There's a shooting star here at the end of these moon cycles. It's a shooting star here. I'm going to go into the extended and pull more cards and see what I can find out here. So if you feel like you resonate with this reading, then come to the extended. If you feel like that was all I needed, or you did not resonate with the reading, then thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you back next week for your love reading. Take care, Aries. Bye.